Labor's signature $10 billion housing fund has been blocked in the upper house. The Greens joined the coalition in blocking the fund, claiming it does not go far enough to support renters. Treasurer Jim Chalmers was speaking about the housing policy a little earlier when this exchange unfolded with Senator Jacqui Lambie, who supports the bill.
Get this moved to Parliament. I should say good morning to Jacqui on her way past. Morning, Jacqui.
Well done.
Nice to see you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
She's on board for housing. How do you get
Yeah, we appreciate your support for housing, Jacqui. Thank you.
And I'll tell you what, the sooner we get that foundation down, the better.
Yeah.
Every day those Greens stop that is every day those people out there living in those bloody tents.
Couldn't have said it better.
And Jacqui Lambie joins me now. Senator, thanks for your time this morning. So your support for the Treasurer there this morning?
Yes, certainly. We certainly didn't get everything that we wanted, and I am a little bit concerned. Considering we're in a surplus, is that they couldn't give a little bit more out for those welfare recipients, especially on those ones on New Start and that, because I can tell you $40 for a fortnight extra is not going to go very far. And it's certainly, that's a bit worrying for me, that we're more worried about having a trophy on our resume that we have a surplus when we were a minister of something. It really bothers me a lot. So for those, so for me, that's pretty disappointing. We could have went better with New Start. I think it's great what they've done for those over 55s, given them extra to reduce that from 60 to 55, because there is a lot of those women out there that are doing tough that have bugger all super out there, Pete. So that's great. I think it's great about the aged care home packages, that more people, gives more elderly out there an opportunity to actually go to heaven on their own terms and be able to pass away in their own homes instead of having to die in palliative care. I think that's extremely generous. But more importantly than anything, thank goodness they have fixed that freeze that we went through with the GP rebate. Because I'm hoping that more of my medical practitioners down in Tasmania will now start to bulk billing in their own medical practices, mate. So, there is some pretty good. They've kept it pretty steady, the budget. I think they could have went a little bit further, certainly because they have got that surplus coming up. So I guess we'll see what happens.
OK, it's nice to get that feedback on the budget from parts of the crossbench at least, but just back to the Housing Australia Future Fund. At the moment, there could be more debate going on today about that. The Greens at the moment siding with the coalition. They're saying it's not going far enough. Earlier we spoke to Greens housing spokesperson Max Chandler-Mather on Sky News. Let's just play a bit of that for you.
Lambie has been misled in this instance. In the budget, there was no extra funding to guarantee those 1,200 homes. And in fact, the deal, it seems that all it is that if the fund is able to build that many homes, big if, by the way, because last year the Future Fund lost 1.2% and the stock market's pretty shaky at the moment, the world economy is as well, then there'll be 1,200 homes in each state. But let's be clear, Tasmania alone is losing 1,020 affordable rentals under the NRAS scheme because the government is ending funding for that.
Senator, what's your response?
You know what, I think it's like what you said beforehand. Building businesses are already going under, which is really difficult. I want to say this to the Greens, for goodness sake, we're 2 years away from another election. I can tell you right now, you're only going to get your first foundation down with all these new houses. I'm sick of hearing them cry like little babies. I'm sick of them bringing instability upon those who are already living in instability. For goodness sake, just tick off on that. Let's get these homes built. You've got 12 people. You have the biggest balance of power in this parliament, everyone, and you can't do deals along the way to make sure that whatever else you want with housing can't be done. You can't be serious with me this morning. I absolutely find it absolutely shameful in what the Greens are doing. They're supposed to be there, they have the biggest social conscience, so they claim, up here in Parliament, and this is how they're treating those people who are living in tents that are in absolute despair, just want a roof over their head so they've got safety and warmth for their own children. This is absolutely disgraceful behaviour by the Greens. They're so bloody poor. Their performance is disgraceful.
I see what you're saying there, but doesn't some of the blame shift on to Labor because, they have to deal with the composition of the parliament and, this is a major crisis that's happening in Australia right now. Could Labor be better at negotiating with the Greens?
I think Labor is quite good at negotiating. I tell you what, after 9 years under the Liberal Party, they're gods in it compared to what I put up with them. What we need to do is, what I know is there is a lot of people living out there on the streets and they're living it rough, and that includes a hell of a lot of kids. And I want them in safe houses with roofs over them. That's what I want, so they can get on with their lives. And if they want to sit there and nitpick over that, then let them do that, because I can tell you their true colours are now starting to come out. They don't have the social conscience that they claim to. Like I said, they're already putting... People are out there suffering, and every day that you sit there on the fence because you cannot get what you want instead of starting to build houses is absolutely shameful.
I just want to take you back to your comment at the beginning of this interview where you said you're hopeful that a lot of doctors in Tasmania will start bulk billing once again, but there has been some commentary coming out from doctors and practices saying that the increase to that rebate is not going to go far enough to sort of make doctors bulk bill in total once again. What's your reaction to that commentary?
Well, I have to be brutally honest with you. I had GPs thanking me yesterday, and I haven't seen anything come through my email, and if they have, they certainly hadn't come through by 11 o'clock last night into my inbox complaining about what they've just been given in Tasmania. I can assure you of that much, and I'm sure there is more clean up to do, but let's get started so hopefully more will bulk bill. So that takes the heaviness or the burden off A&E a little bit more.
Labor is going to be spending 0.2% of GDP more than the previous government on defence. Defence Minister Richard Marles in Parliament yesterday said it was a historic investment. With the threats that are currently out there in the world today, and from someone who has served in our defence forces, do you think that's enough?
I have to be honest with you. The biggest threat right now in our defence forces is our leadership that cannot hold on, that cannot retain their own members, and nobody is signing up. That is our biggest threat to this country today. But I thank the Labor Party for putting more GDP into that. I know that the Liberals had lifted it slightly over the years that they were in. We've got a lot of catch-up to do. We need to buy a lot of equipment, but more importantly, to use this equipment and to be the true fighting machine, the heart of our military, we need more boots on the ground, and I'll tell you what, we're struggling.
Senator Jacqui Lambie, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.